Okay, I'm going to go ahead and answer someone's question that they asked me just recently. They said, they asked me what I thought of Stephen Harper's apology to Canada's Indigenous people. Now, that was a thing that's been going on for a while now. I don't remember exactly when this took place. I just can't remember offhand. But Stephen Harper did give an apology on behalf of Canada and people who did everything that they did to the First Nations. Now, like I said, somebody asked me what I thought of his apology. Before I do that, I did want to make a point, and I only make this point because I used to be Catholic, and then I'm not Catholic anymore, what have you. Now, pretty much every religion that was responsible for the residential schools that First Nations children were forced into have pretty much apologized and publicly apologized. The Catholic Church did apologize, but it did so in a very sneaky way. They apologized, but the apology would not be made public. It would only be made to, I think it was about 3 people, like a hand-chosen set of First Nations representatives. It would not be recorded visually, audio. Nobody could take dictation. It could not be recorded in any way. And it had to be done by just the Pope, the people he was apologizing to, and a couple of Pope staffers. I mean, that's really not much of a public apology. It seems more like a tactic to avoid culpability, to coming after damages and getting sued like everybody else did. I mean, that is the point. That's why it's not on record as having happened. It's why there is no transcript. That's why there is no recording, so that there is relatively plausible deniability later on, so that nobody can go after them legally, because they could say, well, we never apologized, because by apologizing, you're admitting culpability, and by admitting culpability, you place yourself in liability, which means someone can seek remedy from you, sue you, take your money, whatever. Now, as for Harper's public apology that became on behalf of Canadians, the religious institutions, the government itself, and its deliberate program of assimilation, this was one of the things that him and other conservatives were saying that, well, actually conservatives were kind of split on it. Some conservatives were saying, well, this is proof that he's forward-thinking and that, you know, he's making an apology. Oh, the liberals who just want to give everything to minorities never do that. And it was actually Stephen Harper who gave it. The other half were saying, oh, no, those blah, 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 racist stereotypes. You know, we shouldn't have to apologize for something that happened a long time ago. Those people are gone. It doesn't matter. Get over it. Whatever. Well, the conservative supporters were kind of divided on that. Overall, it was a good gesture to the world, and certainly did improve our standing in the world somewhat after it's been tarnished a great deal by the war in Afghanistan, one that Stephen Harper has also approved the continuation of, despite the vast majority of the public being against it. That's how democracy works, by the way, Afghanistan, just so you know. He did apologize, and I do believe that on some level, I'm sure there's some level of him as a human being where he is genuinely sorry for what has happened to Canada's Indigenous people. It's not a good thing, and it doesn't deserve to happen to anybody. But I do believe he is genuinely sorry that it has happened in the past as a historical context. I mean, that he's sorry for the pain it's caused, but I would say that he does not care about the plight of Native Americans today. I mean, he is a conservative. That's pretty much their position on everything. Shut up and get over it. I mean, I don't believe that he genuinely actually cares about the terrible conditions that First Nations people do go through today. So I believe the apology to be real on a genuine level of human understanding for a practice that happened that was terrible. However, it is disingenuous on another level, as there is no intention to follow through on it. Now, this was done at the same time of signing on to the UN Declaration of Rights of Indigenous Peoples, which has a certain set of specifics that a country with an indigenous population who have signed on to it have to go through in order to live up to those obligations. Now, while Stephen Harper has signed Canada onto it, we've yet to see any action whatsoever taken over it. And if my knowledge of its timing is right, I believe that the recent standoff in Caledonia came after that. I'm not entirely certain. I don't remember offhand. The Caledonia standoff, another ruling class instituted problem. I find it ridiculous that a piece of land that, regardless of what it is that you actually think about the treaty, the white people that live there would attack the indigenous for wanting it over a legal discrepancy when the land was only going to be used to build condos. A real estate developer, and I'm assuming it's going to be condos, real estate developing anyway. A real estate developer's profits is more important to white Canadians than the actual dignity and the damage that has been done to the First Nations people. That's literally more important. Exploited indigenous who have nothing, rich real estate developer. I mean, this really should be, in the context of human rights and social justice, this shouldn't be a no-brainer. I mean, it's obvious. But that's just how things work. It's just the way it's got to be under capitalism. So I think, to an extent, that apology was disingenuous, as there is no intention to follow through on it. The indigenous population in this country has gotten a tremendously horrible deal, and I personally do not foresee a change to that for a very, very long time. And to actually get proper reparations, proper respect, it's going to take nothing short of an actual revolution.